up, everyone? Welcome back to the Outpost. Today I'm going to be working on my timber frame again. I've got a large log up here that I'm going to work on a 7 by 10 inch beam. But you know, a lot of times these logs, they may be larger on one side than they are on the other side. So what you have to do is, in order to save material, you need to lift up the small side about even off of the bunk of the sawmill in order to cut a straight line, and then you flip it over and you do the same thing so that you end up saving as much material as possible, because otherwise you could be cutting out a big huge wedge as you go. So what you want to do is try to raise this end up so that you can cut a flatter plane to save as much material as possible. I actually placed marks on these supports right here. They keep the log from rolling off, and I marked them right here from the top. In other words, this is 4 inches from the top, 5, 6, because as I come through milling a log, what I don't want to happen is that saw blade coming through here and then hitting this and attempting to saw through it, which has happened before. I actually nicked this one right here because I thought I had it down far enough. So I decided to go ahead and place these marks here. That way, if I'm cutting a 7-inch plane as I'm going across from the top of these bunks right here, I can actually lower this down to 6 inches. And I know that I'm going to come over the top of this at least an inch, because I want this up far enough to be able to square this side, because as I rotate the log, it squares itself up against these because I've got this level with the bunk, okay, at a 90-degree angle. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get my materials together, and I've got this piece right here that I'm going to saw off at about 12 to 14 inches. I haven't decided yet, but we'll get that cut, and then we'll dig us a hole down there and we'll get that thing set in. This is the 12-ton jack that I mentioned that I had right here. And I don't know if it ever came with any hydraulic fluid in it or not, but in the event that you have one like this and it doesn't work, because this morning I tried to pump it up and it wouldn't do anything. So what I did is put this little set screw right here beside that. It's not a set screw, it's a plug. You take that out, then there is another plug down on the inside, which is, you take that out and that will allow you to put hydraulic fluid in it. The way that I filled that cylinder up was, I didn't have a funnel small enough, so I used this little bottle right here. I poured hydraulic fluid in it, and then I just kept pumping it until I got it full. I put that little screw in the bottom, and that keeps it from coming back out the plug chamber, and then you put the plug itself back in there. And now, when I turn this to the right and I pump this, it raises this ever so slowly, which that's what it's supposed to do. What I need to do is I need to dig out at least, I ended up cutting this 14 inches long, so I'm going to have to dig out at least that much. What I ended up with now is something that I can take my jack and sit on, and I can actually slide it back and forth based on the size of this log, wherever the center may be. And I'll be able to lift up on that. So what I do is I actually take a measurement on this side where the top of this log is right about 14. Then I come down here on this bunk and I measure this, and this is about 15. So what I need to do is I need to raise this end up right here in order to meet that. So I'll begin to jack this end up. Okay, taking a look at this right here, I still got some bark left here, but I've got more bark left down here. I have pretty much got this 10 inches deep, but I lack 1 more inch making this 7, so I decided to flip it over and cut it off the shallow side. That way I would leave most of the bark just on one side, and what I'll do is I'll turn that to the bottom inside of the house. That way the top side where the floor sits will be a full beam width, and that faces outside will be a full beam width too, because by the time I take an inch down here I'll probably have very little bark left on this. So let me fire up the saw and we'll cut that off. You can see this little section that I've got left in here, that's primarily all that is left on this side. This side over here is nice and full. We salvaged a nice 7 by 10 inch beam out of this board right here. Plus we got 4 1x10s to use on that Hobbit house, just by trimming off some of the bark, leveling it up, and trying to conserve as much lumber as possible. Well, it's getting late. I managed to get another log cut up. This one is 7 by 7 and it needed to be almost 13 feet long. So I dug it out of the pile and I've got it squared off. So tomorrow after church, what I'll do is I will bring the log over there and lay out and work the ends down on that. And I'm gradually getting all of the beams, top and bottom, and I've got a couple of 16-foot posts for the center that I've got still yet, a couple of trees I got to fell for that. But I'm slowly but surely getting most of the material now done to where we can start putting this timber frame structure together. Anyway, as you can see, I managed to get several good 1-bys out of those 2 logs that I milled up today. So there's a lot of good that's going to come out of that for that Hobbit house down there at the permanent base camp. And also the decking material, because this, normally what I've been doing is sawing my exterior 3/4 of an inch thick, but I went ahead and sawed these 1 inch because I think what I'm going to do is use them for the decking down there. So they will be random, but nonetheless they'll be 1 inch thick, and when I treat them they should stand for a long time. So yeah, there's a lot of good that's coming out of this slab wood, whittling these logs down for this timber frame. So anyway, just wanted to say that I hope everyone enjoyed this video. We do appreciate when you like, share, and subscribe to our channel. If you're new and you like building, you like woodwork, we do bushcraft, hiking, camping, things of that nature. We ask that you go ahead and subscribe, because our channel is actually full of a lot of different types of playlists. My daughter is actually going to come up again, and she said that she needs to give you all another recipe, so I'll be looking forward to that. Anyway, you can also find us on Facebook and Instagram, again under the same name, Smoky Mountain Outpost. Anyway, I hope everyone has a great evening, and we look forward to seeing you at the Outpost in the future.
Mm-hmm.